Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mary, and together we own Natural Plus Nursery in Clear Lake, Iowa.
We are your favorite backyard nursery, serving North Iowa since 1978. We sell trees, shrubs, and perennials and love sharing our seasonal family business with our kids and you.
Here you'll learn about the plants you buy from us, how to care for them, and never before told behind the scenes look at our lives as nursery owners. This is the dirt from Natural Plus. Here we grow. Hello, welcome to The Dirt with Natural Plus Nursery. I'm Mary Hopper, and I have a guest here today, Johanna. She is our vendor from one of the nurseries that we have gotten trees, shrubs, perennials from for probably 47 years, a long, long time. And so I brought Johanna here today to answer some of our pressing questions, the questions that we are curious about with the plants and what to plant and where to plant and why we want to plant certain things and all the things. So we're going to jump in today. Johanna, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Good morning, Mary. Thanks everyone for watching or listening. My name is Johanna George, and I'm a territory sales rep with Bailey Nurseries. Bailey Nurseries celebrated 120 years in business in 2025. It's a family-owned business, much like Natural Plus, headquartered in St. Paul, Minnesota. We have growing operations across 5 states, and we're a wholesale nursery. So we're doing breeding work from the ground up and supply garden centers, nurseries, landscapers, and other growers with anywhere from starter material all the way through finished product that the homeowner is ready to take and install. I've been in the industry over 20 years, mostly at retail garden centers, and a huge background in design, and joined Bailey Nurseries in 2024 as a sales rep. So excited to join you today, Mary, and talk plants.
I'm also excited. You have been a wealth of knowledge for us. We've learned so much from you just in the 2 years that we've gotten to know you. So thank you for that already. And I can't wait to share this knowledge with our customers and our friends who are listening or watching today. We're just going to jump right in. And one of the most frequent questions we get, we're out in the nursery, we're looking at shade trees, and there's a 10-gallon autumn blaze maple, and it's beautiful, and it's the perfect size for someone to take home and put in their yard, and they can manage it themselves. It's probably our most popular size and variety of shade tree that we sell. But the question that we get is, how old is this tree? And we asked you that last year and you explained. And so I thought, why not get that recorded so that when someone asks that question, we can talk about, or they can come listen to you share where did this tree come from? What is the life cycle of this tree and how old is it?
Sure, absolutely. So we can hone in especially on one variety or one tree in one size container, but in general, there's obviously a lot of different processes depending on the species of the tree, the genus in general. A lot of our maples, specifically our red silver hybrids, which is what an autumn blaze is, are all grown on their own root. So these you'll see, I think everyone, when they're at the garden center or the nursery, they're looking at this tree, they kind of see a bulge or a knot at the bottom. Sometimes they don't. So certain trees are grown on their own root. Certain trees are budded and still on their own root, and some trees are grafted. And this is really the start of how long it takes to produce a plant. So in general, we know we're looking at 5 years, 7 years, 10 years down the road before you have that plant ready to go to a homeowner. So in many cases, a seed is harvested and that is sown, and we get a seedling. And from that seedling, that's where our root system is going to begin. And that's where we decide if it's going to be grown on its own rootstock, if we're going to take that rootstock and bud it, which basically means take a bud from a tree and propagate it there and grow that out, or if we're going to take an entirely different plant and make a union. So for the instance of those maples, they're seeded out, then they're lined out in a sense, and we're letting that plant sucker. So maples in general growing pretty quickly, some varieties more than others, but growing pretty quickly. And what we're ending up doing in that second year is selecting one stem. And so a lot of times that's where you'll see some of those kind of knobs or notches come from too. So it may be a bud, but it may also just be that we lined that out, we let it kind of sucker, and then we went in and we chose one trunk to grow that tree from. So in a nursery setting, they're growing out in a field. This is not necessarily a plant that is grown in a container from start to finish. Some products are, some products can be, but in general, you'll get quicker finishing time if they're lined out in a field. And what happens then in year 3, and sometimes depending on the variety in year 4, they're dug out of a field. So we have a seed that's put into a field. We're selecting a top. This may be a whip without branches, or it may be a branched tree. By the time we're digging it out of a field in year 3, year 4, some like oaks or things that take a long time, year 5. We have some speed demons, willows, elms, most of the maples, out they go into the field and they're coming right back out. So once that tree is to the size that we prefer to put into a container and finish for you, that's dug out of the field. In some of our production, Mary, there is a smaller tree that goes into a 5-gallon container, and then that 5-gallon gets upped into a 10-gallon container. But especially for most of these maples, they're out in the field, they're harvested, and then they're put right into that number 10 container. So we're probably looking at a tree that's about 6 feet tall when it comes out of the field. We're looking for at least light branching. We're starting to see that structure. And then it goes into a number 10 container, and it's grown on there at least 1 year, year and a half. A lot of times if it's potted in the spring, it's not available on availability for our customer until the following spring or summer. And then it needs to have some pot life once it comes to you. So you can have it in the nursery for the springtime or the summertime, and then it goes to a homeowner. So in many cases, that tree is 6 to 7 years old on average. Quicker things like I just mentioned, the elms, the willows, they can be 4 or 5 years old because they're speed demons. And a lot happens during that process. We're getting rid of lower limbs. We're looking for suckers. We're tying up those trees on like a stick or a pole 4 or 5 times throughout that first growing season. And this is applicable for fruit trees as well. You guys offer a number of our fruit trees as well as ornamentals. The same process kind of happens. Fruits are much more likely to be budded or grafted because of rootstock types. But again, there's a seed that's collected. We're taking budwood or letting it grow off of its own base, and eventually getting that to a size that we lift it out of the field, pot it, grow it a little longer, put it on a drip line in a pot and pot system, and then we're shipping it to a garden center, a landscaper, a nursery like you. So that maple has been around a little longer.
So much goes into it, and so much more than we realize. I realize, and I'm certain that anyone listening to this is thinking probably the same thing. Wow. And maybe that also explains sometimes we get the question of why is this so expensive? And it's because a lot went into growing this plant.
Yes, and assuring that you have a virus-free rootstock and a healthy top and something that hasn't, been invaded by diseased or pest issues. And that all takes time and people and expertise. And in general, a lot of things can be automated these days, but the budding process is still all done by hand. Tying trees up so they're straight is still done by hand. So it all takes time. And to me, there's nothing more valuable than plant material. I spend money on good quality footwear and plants. I
The
think
roots of us, right? The things that hit the earth. That's the
exactly
important.
what I put into my body,
Yep.
what I wear on my body, and the environment around is a place to not skimp out. And yes, it's great for people to understand the work that goes in, the time. You need space, and land is not becoming more affordable. And so it all costs money and takes time, but it's a good, I've wasted a lot of money on other things I shouldn't have compared to plants. So it's a good place to spend your money.
Great investment for sure. Yes.
It is. They
Yep.
always say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So, yep, absolutely.
I have one question about the grafting on fruit trees and ornamental trees. Are they grafted onto the root of a different ornamental or fruit tree, or is it a totally different plant? That's a real silly question, but I'm just curious.
No,
That's
it's a real genuine question, and the answer is both. So in many cases, you have a rootstock that is the same as the top, but sometimes that rootstock is a 2-year rootstock and a 1-year top. And that's how we can really get some growth and really get some size by mixing there. In other cases, it's the same genus, but a different species. Um, Buckeyes, horse chestnuts, that sort of things. Different species perform better in different parts of the country. So we'll take a different or certain type of rootstock for what we're going to sell or where you want to grow it, sort of thing. You would maybe choose one rootstock over another. Lilacs would be something that are kind of interchangeable. So like a reticulata or a Japanese tree lilac is used as a base for a dwarf Korean or bloomerang lilac. So those lollipops, those, ornamental trees. So the answer is both, and it is fully based on experience and hardiness and what's available out there, what is certified virus free as well, and what we want that plant to do. So if we want to dwarf it, if we want, with fruit trees, dwarf, semi-dwarf, or standard, that rootstock is going to dictate what the top does, how large it can get, how long it takes to produce fruit. So yeah, a little bit of a loaded question, but they're on different rootstocks sometimes.
This was such a great conversation. I'm going to have you back if you're open. I'm
Thanks,
sure there
Mary.
will be more as the
Appreciate.
season starts. We're going to have more questions for you, but for now, that was
Yes, of
so,
course.
thank you for your time and your energy. And I can tell that you're really passionate about what you do, and that's inspiring.
Yeah, same. Thanks to you and Dave. You guys have a beautiful place there. It's a joy to come and see you every time I visit. And we hope to continue to provide you with quality plant material and be an extended resource for you.
Thank you. And listener, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt from Natural Plus Nursery. If you dug this episode, subscribe to our newsletter so you never miss a tip, sale, or a behind the scenes look at our nursery business. Happy planting!